Tonight, warnings the criminal underworld is using encryption apps and the dark web to order drug deals and even hit jobs. The worst of the worst crimes, all at their fingertips, thanks to a kind of airtasker for crims, which police say has worrying implications. Looks like everyone wants to work from home these days, and it's no different for our underworld crime syndicates whose crimey workflows have been revolutionised by new and shiny encrypted communication tech.
Crime gangs have been using these encrypted devices since the mobile phone turned up. The very first one, which was huge, was a thing called Phantom. The biggest one was a thing called a NOM. The very popular one was Cypher. They used another one called Stealth.
Encryption tech is allowing gangsters to advertise crimey jobs online that other like-minded gangsters can then accept for an agreed price. Think of it as an airtasker, but for drugs, theft and murder. Or scare-tasker. I don't know, I tried. Anyway, police say it's creating a crimey gig economy where baddies can lock in the services of other baddies, all at a distance, anonymously.
I've seen instances where you will have a controller, so a person who you can connect with, no matter what your job that you want done, and that person will then spear it out to their contacts.
Like a crime concierge, and the implications are huge.
So previously, each gang, they would have certain people that they'd call them the capable ones. They're the ones that would go out and do the killings. But now we're seeing a lot of it being outsourced. What they hope is that it confuses the police and it gives them safety.
It also means police are seeing a wave of younger lawbreakers taking on extremely serious jobs.
We're certainly starting to see people sometimes with a very clean record or not very much on the radar of law enforcement who are all of a sudden conducting probably some of the most extreme violent activities that you can imagine.
We're seeing collateral damage by the use of inexperienced shooters. There are hits now being done by very, very inexperienced criminals. Young kids, in their 18, 20. They are going into gyms and just opening fire.
Citing extensive AFP raids in recent months, experts say all these encrypted channels are ultimately crackable, with some crims now opting for the personal touch, which is nice.
You've got a lot of crooks very worried about these encrypted devices, and they're going back to the old-fashioned way where they talk out of the side of their mouth. Meet me in a dark, dingy bar or in a park. Crooks are going back to meeting face-to-face.
So will encryption tech drive gangsters into a nameless, faceless abyss? Or will it drive an uptick in underworld meetups for coffees? Either way, for the love of God, somebody stop them.
It'd be nice to go back to the old ways, wouldn't it? Where they meet up in a pub and then they're there and you could just say to the other bloke, go and shoot him in the back of the head while you're sitting at the bar. That's what used to happen.
Good old days.
The good old days.
The good old days. That sounds terrifying.
Not all this computer stuff.
Yeah.
So, OK, just to be clear, the computer stuff is not the problem.
Right.
It's just how the problem is now occurring.
Yes.
The thing that scared me most of that was that point they made about just kids doing it.
Yes.
The outsourcing.
Yes. Obviously for two reasons. One is it's harder to predict.
Yeah.
But then, do you think about what it must take to go from being a clean skin who's done nothing to suddenly doing all of that? Leave aside the, innocent victims being caught up into it because they're not good at killing people, which seems a weird argument to be making.
It's strange.
But leave that aside. But just the escalation psychologically, you would normally, this sort of thing happens
But I
gradually.
think social media is driving
Yeah,
it, isn't it?
I think that's right.
A lot of the seasoned crooks are using youngsters because when they get caught, they don't normally go to jail. They get bail and then they can do it again, which is a big problem.
It really is.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, hearing you say baddies meet baddies was very exciting.
Also crimey is
the crime, like-minded criminals.
These are words I've been hanging on to for a long time.
I know.